Is it good? Listen, Bub, we got a new Spider-Man game to talk about.
Bub is Wolverine.
Yeah, it's the other one.
Bub is Wolverine.
It was Bud.
Two.
Bud with a D. It's Amazing Bowl Dude Soup.
Twit.
Yeah,
Snap.
Wrong camera. Whatever.
It doesn't matter. I don't care.
I care.
I think it's funny that I pointed.
You want to be a host like John Reisinger? You're going to treat it like
I
one.
do.
Without
I do.
respect.
Who doesn't want to be a host like John Reisinger?
Jaws
like Jaws.
Reisinger. Oh, that was
Man, you guys
that was
whoa,
You
that
guys
was
are
a
like
slow
Hold on,
transition.
cut back to them real quick. You guys look like
They're so short.
distance between you is amazing.
And we're also,
could fit a
in
stack of
case I
dogs in
stand up,
Yeah.
I can still, go back again.
You
I can still talk right here.
You can't see, but Peter
passionate.
Jackson's back there going like, more like a hobbit. Make the table weirder.
Yeah, we could stand to get this table a little brighter. Omar, next time if you could put some more lights on this table, that'd be great.
Oh, there we
Oh,
go.
that's way better.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
way better.
It was a
There
little
was some
Vaseline
weird
lens.
graphic things sticking around because Casper's awesome.
New tech always works. That's the
Always does, every time.
That's the logo of this
It's like
show.
we don't
Hey,
test it.
we're talking Spider-Man. First of all, thanks to Sony and Insomniac Games for the free copy that we're allowed access to. And right off the top, let me promise you guys, we'll be avoiding spoilers, except for very minor ones. You know, the ones that you kind of have to bring up if you're talking about something at all. But I'll certainly keep my descriptions to when it comes to story and stuff very general. Also, behind us we have the beginning of the game. So there was that amount of spoiler too, but rest assured, once you start playing it, this is the first thing you'll see. So it is not really a spoiler so much as an introduction. We have one sponsor today, Mack Weldon. You can get 20% off by going to mackweldon.com and using our promo code SOUP. All right, time to be superheroes.
Yeah.
Adam and I played it, meaning Adam is the resident expert.
I've played a lot of it.
Yeah, same. It's basically all I've been doing for the past 2 days.
I can't stop playing it.
Wow.
It's so damn good.
So yeah, I feel like this is going to be the dynamics of this. Adam loves it a lot.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. But-
I've only watched an hour of it. Have you seen any of it yet?
I mean, I've only seen E3 stuff.
I mean, yeah.
I'm abstaining
You're abstaining.
until it's time for me to actually get my hands on it and
smart.
play.
So introductions, yeah, real quick. There's Stanley's young son, Bruce Green.
Whoa, do I inherit his money?
Maybe once he kicks away.
Should be like his
But-
great grandson. He's like 102.
He is very old.
Mike Ditka's living progeny, James Willems, who unfortunately was robbed.
Steve Ditko.
Yeah, what did I say?
He said Mike Ditka.
Who's a coach for the Chicago Bears.
The Bears.
Yeah. Spider-Man. The man.
I owned a copy of issue number 2.
That's a reference to Saturday Night Live, which is a comedy show
So
that you've
many
never
references.
heard of.
So many
One of the
references.
few skits Robert Smigel was in.
Oh boy.
Hi,
All right, back to
Robert
Spider-Man.
Smigel.
Yes.
Who am I? What'd I do?
I already got the clickbait title. Spider-Man, best superhero game ever? I'm going to say no, but whatever. By the Metacritic.
What about Adam's intro?
That's fine.
What? What were you?
Adam's
You
clickbait.
never did him. You did
Sorry.
Stanley's son, Mike
Steve
Ditka's
Yeah.
son, and then Adam.
That
works.
The uncredited third creator of Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's
You
just
don't
a
get
dotted
any money.
outline. There's
No
like
money. No
an
money at
empty
all.
hand floating off somewhere.
It's some communist that was on a blacklist.
Someone had to do the inking.
But yeah, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, as a Metacritic says that it is equal to the best Spider-Man game, and this is kind of stupid, but let that show you what reviews mean. So at the time of podcast recording, it's at an 87. This has it tied with the 2000 Spider-Man tie-in with the Sam Raimi movie.
Wait, Spider-Man or Spider-Man 2?
Spider-Man. Oh, sorry, no, 2000 was Spider-Man, the Neversoft one,
Yeah.
the PlayStation 1 one.
Oh,
My
really?
bad.
Where
Shit.
there's clouds all below the...
Yeah, where there's like green gas all over New
Okay.
York.
Yeah.
Spider-Man 2 and Electro 74. Spider-Man the movie 79. Spider-Man 2 83. That's the good one, quote unquote. The one that had like realistic swinging.
I remember
and
that
everything.
one.
Ultimate Spider-Man 77. Spider-Man 3 63. Web of Shadow 68. Shattered Dimension 76. Amazing Spider-Man 69 and Amazing Spider-Man 2 49. Oof. So we're right back up there where the series began in terms of the Metacritic ratings. We're at an 87.
87.
A lot of reviews across the board are saying it's amazing, which I by and large agree with. Adam, I think you wholeheartedly agree with.
I'm immediately biased because I have played most Spider-Man games, and one of my favorite ones is Web of Shadows, which I looked on Metacritic has a 68.
Yeah.
Like,
How dare
I
you.
remember being really good, and I watched the history of all Spider-Man games, which was most of them. They left out Friend or Foe, which is that shitty game for the Wii. But I think it was for the Wii, right? Friend
It
or
was
Foe?
it was for PC and PS2 as well.
Okay. All I know is people hated it or loved it.
It was the weird one in between Neversoft and the movie games when they started coming out.
Yeah, but either way, I remember, I watched the whole thing. There have been a lot of shitty Spider-Man games that I didn't even know about.
Like
Because-
the Atari one?
Yeah, I
Or
mean,
all the
like-
crappy Genesis ones?
well, I knew about
was
the
it
Genesis.
Web of Fire on the 32X?
I knew of like Maximum Carnage
Yeah.
and those games that I guess weren't. Those are like skin games, and then having Spider-Man in like Marvel vs. Capcom doesn't really count.
Yeah.
But like the PS1 game, I remember playing, and yeah, there were clouds. But it was the first step. It was okay. We can make a 3D Spider-Man game,
Yeah.
and you went awesome. And that was
It had wall crawling and like you go up in events. Just the camera work required for that game to work was really
Spider-Man himself was kind of weak. He wasn't overpowered. It was like, but there was like city parts, and then he would crawl on walls and all that fun
Lawrence,
stuff.
can we see footage of that? I'm sorry, I don't want
Of
to.
the
Oh,
old one?
yeah, sure.
Oh man,
I,
yeah.
would, I don't know what you guys are talking about because
Yeah.
I don't know that I ever played it.
That was, but this is also, I mean, Neversoft made it. They were between Tony Hawk's.
Yeah, it was
They
the
made
Tony
that
Hawk
game,
engine.
and then it went to Treyarch eventually. It bounced around through a few different developers, but like most Activision things, they just ran it into the ground.
Yeah, they Tony Hawked it pretty hard.
Yeah.
Where they serialized it.
Oh man.
So yeah, this was like, it was also pretty deeply referential of Spider-Man lore. Like it had a ton of villains in it. It ran well enough. But yeah,
Oh,
New York's covered in this
yeah.
green fog because they can't render the ground and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But yeah, it had cool music. It had like a different costumes and stuff. It had a lot going for it at the time.
At the time, what, 2000 when it
Yeah,
came out? Yeah.
2000.
There had been nothing this good.
Carnage got on Dr. Octopus. Whoa! It had Venom. Whoa! I mean, this is all cool stuff. Before that, you had like Maximum Carnage, which still a great game, but largely you beat him up with some swinging mechanics.
But
tied in.
in the world of superhero video games, I would say the Batman Arkham series, that includes Origins, is still the best superhero game
Funny you
franchise.
bring that up because, boy, Marvel Spider-Man is Batman. Just straight up, it's Batman.
Sure.
There's
Oh,
nothing about
yeah.
it that's not Batman.
The newest game, yeah.
Yeah.
Spider-Man. It looks exactly like. I played Arkham only a few hours, and it looks exactly the same.
I mean, down to the point where I'm pretty sure someone at Marvel 4 years ago saw Arkham and was like, we want that. And then they went through rounds of notes with Insomniac, and we're like, no, but that. Like down to the, so there's gadgets in the fighting system, remarkably similar to Batman, except not quite as good, because there's no keyboard shortcuts or controller shortcuts to throw them out.
That's true.
You have to like use the radial wheel to pick a new gadget, and they have their context and uses, which are pretty good. But boy, it's Batman. It's just straight up Batman.
I remember when I played the first Arkham game, I said, if they just continue to make this, I will continue to play it.
It's fun.
I was like, you don't need to improve it.
Yeah.
You just need to give me more of it, and I have every single time I played. I played all of them. The only one that I was like I didn't finish was Origins, but then
It wasn't bad.
I liked Origins a lot.
Origins is good.
Arkham
People give it-
Asylum, Arkham City, Arkham Origins, right?
and then
Arkham
Dark-
Knight.
Arkham Knight.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, because they did. It was weird. They did Origins with was it Ubisoft? Not Ubisoft. Sorry, it was WB Montreal.
Yeah.
That was like they're sort of like, what if we can do this? Like we can ping pong developers, and then I guess that one didn't sell well enough that they didn't continue.
That was the
but-
only one that didn't feel right to me for whatever reason.
Yeah, a lot of people have said that.
It like the controls of it didn't feel. He wasn't doing the things I wanted him to do, and I was like, maybe it's just not remembering it. And then I went back and played Arkham Asylum, and I was like, no, it's working exactly in this game. And then I played Arkham Knight, I was like, nope, it's working in this game. So it's just something.
Timing was a
There's
little
just like a percentage point off of whatever I was vibing with in the other games.
Same with the Arkham games. I'm like an apologist where I'm like, I'm just happy that I have a game that I feel like Batman or I feel like Spider-Man. Even X-Men Origins Wolverine, probably one of the only superhero games where you feel like you're Wolverine ripping people apart. There's not a lot of games that do that well. So, and this one I feel like captures the essence of Spider-Man, which is a very downtrodden character of like his life kind of sucks. There's some really interesting moments in the game that it's not that the world is constantly ending. It's he has to deal with stuff in his life where it's like Peter, you're late for work. Where are you? He's like, oh dang it, I'll just stop and I'll be right there. And you're like, oh that's cute. Like this feels like Spider-Man.
That's always been a Spider-Man thing.
Yeah, the balance of life, and he's
Yeah.
that whole struggle of he's constantly fucking up his life because
He's Spider-Man.
he's Spider-Man, and he has to be Spider-Man. He can't stop it because it's his responsibility.
Right.
And like it's cool. They hit those notes pretty well in the game. I felt like.
Yeah, I'll be the downer. So I agree totally with your more Batman is not a bad thing, and the fact that they adapted it really well into Spider-Man trappings, even though some of it is nearly identical. Traversal, I feel, is even better than the Arkham series. Like the grapple, glide, and dive system is really cool, but Spider-Man nailed it.
It moves so fast, moves so fluid, and like they do the thing where they do the Assassin's Creed thing where you unlock towers, and then the towers open up parts of the map, or at least will give you signals of like, oh, there's enemy activity over here, or there's it basically shows you the stuff on the map. You'll be on your way to a mission and be like, you get a radio call, and there's a car like speeding off. You jump on it, throw the dudes out of the car, kick the dude out of the car, jump in front of the car, and you pick it up and then drop it, and you just keep going on your way to your mission. I'm like, you fucking feel like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And like Batman had that too, but it was always slower. But Batman's a slower character, which makes sense. Spider-Man actually has superpowers, so.
Doesn't it get repetitive? I mean, like, my question to all of you guys is, doesn't this get repetitive?
Absolutely.
Doesn't it get
gets
repetitive?
super
Not to
repetitive.
you.
For me, like with Batman, haven't played this.
Yeah.
But with Batman, it felt so right that I could do it forever. I would just keep going through and be like, hey, there's a bunch of thugs that have nothing to do with any of the goals that I'm trying to achieve in the game. And I would go down and I would beat them up. Because I just love
You just liked it.
love
Are you
doing it.
ever like mid-thrust in sex and go, I've done this a million times. But then you go, you know what? It feels good.
You're likening Arkham Asylum
I see what
combat
he's
to
saying.
sex.
Yeah, I get it.
I mean, there is a dopamine hit, yes.
Yeah.
When you
You can
do
have
the
Arkham whenever you want.
when you can do like the perfect swing as Spider-Man, you're like, holy shit! I got on top of that building. I dove. You're just like, oh, it's a hit of ecstasy.
I'm not saying you're wrong. It's more, for me, the more that I watch it and do it, like with Arkham City or whatever, I thought it was cool. But also, after a while, I was like, oh, right, it's a video game. It's always going to give me the perfect swing or the perfect thing or the perfect. It usually does.
As someone who's played a shitload of Batman, I think one of the things that Batman always caps out at is that you can get in a fight and win it and feel good. You can get in a fight and win it without getting hit. That feels awesome.
Okay.
You can get in a fight, use every gadget in one combo, and that feels amazing. So there's skill graduations to how you choose to play as Batman.
Got it.
And especially when they start mixing in like shield dudes and knife dudes and electro prod dudes, each of which that you have to use a particular gadget against. Then it starts to push up against, well, it's not just winning now, it's how thoroughly do you win.
How you won, yeah.
Spider-Man has elements of that, but the enemy types they throw at you are not as interesting as Batman's from a mechanical standpoint. They have shield dudes and whip dudes and like electro baton dudes, but you can largely kill them all the same way.
Mostly, as you power up. I'm
Kill
also,
is a strong word. but-
I guess, I'm not rushing my way through the game because I'm just doing all the side mission stuff. I actually want to take my time with the story, so I'm going a little slow right now. But so yeah, I don't know if there's other enemy types. I know the Sinister Six shows up in some way, shape, or form because they already showed that at E3. So the boss fights have been fairly good. Nothing too crazy. It's like it's the pattern recognition. It's very Batman. Like wait for Shocker to do his 3 attacks, and then he powers up, and then you throw something at him. We're like, okay, it's fine. It's always everything feels very cinematic, which I really like. That same with the combat. That's sort of the thing you do.
It is really cinematic.
Well, you do these wave-based fights, like very much like Batman. You'll have, or it's another game. I think maybe like Assassin's Creed, where it's like you got to take out a certain amount of enemy units, like a base, and you can like stealthily take them out, but then they all just start coming at you, and like a rocket will fly at you. Someone will throw a grenade. Someone's shooting a gun at you, and you're dodging all this while whipping a rocket, throwing it around, throwing it back at somebody. Like it feels good. And then you get the focus meter built up, so then you can take down enemies in one hit, like Batman does. But then you also get suit powers when you unlock new suits. So the Spider-Man Homecoming suit has a thing called Spider Bro, and it's a little robot that comes out of your chest, and he'll just start shocking everybody. Oh. I'm like, that's pretty fucking cool. You know what? I like that. Good job, developers.
Okay.
The suits are more than just cosmetic. A couple of them are just cosmetic, but each one unlocks a new power, and then each of those. Then you have 3 other slots to like adjust your suit how you want. Like it's
kind of similar to God of War, where you have your one slot for your suit power, and you can equip any suit power you've unlocked. So you can basically look how you want and then pair it with a power from another suit that is more thematic. And then there are 3 like gadget slots. Well, they're not gadget slots. I don't remember what they're called.
they're just like ability slots.
Yeah, and you unlock those by spending tokens that you get for doing the side objectives. It's a pretty straightforward in-game economy. If you do a side event, you get a token for that event, and then you have to combine a certain number of tokens to unlock a thing.
Which, by the way, all those like backpacks and stuff they have in the city. So I unlocked all the backpacks in the towers within an hour.
All of them?
Yeah.
You found all the backpacks.
Yeah, because once you unlock the tower, it's only like 55 of them, I think.
Only. I mean, that's a lot of pick-upables. I guess so the cool thing about those is those are incredibly referential. If you're a Spider-Man fan, you know.
Yeah, he's collecting things from his past or whatever. Yeah, there's a bunch of little stuff in there if you're a fan.
I like that a lot, but I think the thing that bugs me about that, and to a larger degree also about the story, is that it's all references. Everything's a reference to something that already existed in Spider-Man. There's pretty much nothing new, except for the main villain, and he's not much of a character either. So for me, and it's funny, Bruce, you were talking about like, oh, I can't make it to my date on time. Like that's pretty classic Spider-Man stuff.
It is, yeah.
That's the entire game. The entire, like Peter is a ultimate good boy. He he is a lab tech for Otto Octavius as they work on new biomachinery to enhance mankind and stuff. He also helps volunteer at his Aunt May's like homeless shelter. And he's not in school. He's like, there's one other thing that proves what a good boy he is. He basically doesn't do anything wrong the whole game. And never faces any difficult decisions. It's always just like struggling, just like, under the heel of tough New York living, but always trying to do your best. And it's just a theme and not really a story. And that's kind of what I had a problem with. It just...
That's why Spider-Man kind of has always been.
Not really.
He's never been like bad at things. And he's never been like a bad guy that was going to be like, I made a bad decision. It's usually like, well, he got hurt, so he has to figure out how to fight through getting hurt, or like
and not having like health insurance.
But he's always had a good moral compass. I guess you could say.
He's definitely one of the things I like about Spider-Man is the question of what to do with power once you have it. Yeah. How do you use it responsibly? That theme's not really touched upon much, at least not what I've seen yet.
In this game, he's been Spider-Man for 10 years.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So he's a pretty accomplished
10
Spider-Man
years,
at this point.
I think, they kind of did the Spider-Man Homecoming or Civil War thing, where they're like, we've seen the origin story. Everyone knows the origin story.
Yeah.
People know the crucifixion of Jesus Christ, and they know the origin story of Batman and Spider-Man. We get it. We know it. We don't need to see it. So I do like that the game just starts off and they go, you know everything of Spider-Man. And they actually flip a couple things around in the story. Like Mary Jane is a writer for the Daily Bugle. You're not. You're not a reporter anymore. Jonah Jameson is a podcaster. He's like a Alex Jones InfoWars type, and he references. He's like the radio. He's sort of like he'll make references to things that you do in the world. I'm like, these are different enough. Octavius is your boss. He's not Doc Ock yet. I don't know. Maybe he will be. I haven't got that far. But what's his face? Not Harry Osborn, his dad. Norman Osborn is the mayor.
Yeah.
Of the city. There's enough different things that I'm like, ooh, what are they gonna do with this? I don't know. It's enough to keep me interested.
Yeah, I haven't finished the story yet. I should have prefaced it with that. So for my disappointments, those might be addressed before the game is over. The other thing that I think is weird is, I was trying to process my initial disappointment with the story, and I likened it to Arkham. I was like, well, Arkham didn't really do anything amazing with Batman or his side characters. It was mostly just somebody would show up, twirl their mustache, and then you'd fight them and go through their lair or whatever. And I was like, well, I like that well enough. I think the weird thing is the Arkham games have a huge style about them, the way that Gotham looks or the way that Arkham looks. It's not photorealistic, where Spider-Man is. It tries to look like Manhattan. And the characters, when they're not wearing their suits, look like actual people. They're not the square-jawed, huge, cartoony people from Arkham.
Yeah.
So it's weird to me to have something a plot and characters that are so cartoony in a very realistic-looking setting. There's something about that just clashes in my head. I guess when I see how this game looks, I didn't go into it with this expectation, but I feel like this complements, well, not this, because he's wearing like a goofy Spider-Man suit, but some of the other suits and definitely some of the live-action sequences look more Nolan than comic book.
What do you mean live-action sequences?
I mean like people talking without suits on. Because the character models are super good and look amazing.
Yeah.
But then they're just speaking to each other in these like kind of weird cartoonish platitudes that you expect from a very middling comic book. That's just, man, maybe I'm being too negative.
It feels really grounded. The way
You think?
Yeah, the way the game has been presented.
Man.
I don't know.
In the intro, you go to Wilson Fisk, who's getting arrested for you don't know why, and he's like, "Rah, I don't want to get arrested." So he sets bombs in his own building, and then you have to like turn them off with a giant monitor with a timer counting down on it. To me, that's comic books. That's not real life.
Yeah, I don't know. It feels like a video game. I guess that means anything. I have I don't have those problems with it. It just everything to me looks and feels good. But once again, I'm sort of a Spider-Man apologist. I'm just happy that this thing exists because otherwise it would have just kept going down the shitty Activision hole that they had been going down, where they're like, it's fun, Spider-Man going down a corridor. No, it's not.
Yeah, that was Shattered Dimensions, right?
Yeah.
It was all
This
inside.
is definitely an improvement, I think, over pretty much any other Spider-Man game. I mean, like from what I've seen, it's not like it's not bad by any means. I don't think it's perfect, but I think it's. Hopefully, it will be fun to play for more than 3 hours.
I've been playing for well more than 3 hours.
There you go.
I intend. I'm going to 100% it.
Oh.
So I'm taking.
So you do like it?
Yeah, no, I do. And I'm prepared for everyone to misunderstand this, but I'm taking the negative angle just so we can spurt conversation.
Makes sense.
So I'm focusing on
Instead
the.
of us jizzing on each other's
Yeah,
chests.
which
or
we can
anything.
easily do.
it's okay.
Yeah, don't you like it? I like it too.
Well, what do you think of? Well, you mentioned MJ as a reporter.
Yeah.
Not much of a spoiler, I hope, but there are sequences where he actually plays Mary Jane.
Yeah, they've talked about it in the other reviews.
Yeah,
so
I
come
thought
at
so.
us.
But boy,
Yeah.
I mean, did you like those sequences? Because it reminded me a lot of, this is an ancient reference, but when you have to play as Ashley in Resident Evil 4,
Yeah.
there's just a bunch of canned like sneak around boxes.
I
sequences.
did it twice because I replayed the game because then I originally played it on a different account. Now I'm playing on my account. I played it again. It's a breeze. The second time, like once I knew what to do, I was like, oh, she has the easiest stealth missions in the world. Like you just sprint through the whole thing.
I get longer.
I was also playing as a dumbass, and I'm just like spinning around people, and then she has her camera out the whole time, so I was just taking pictures of people's asses and be like, ooh yeah, which is super silly. But yeah, I think it's just there to remind you that because they also have those sequences where you're Peter Parker and you're just walking around or running around and you're like going to work and talking to Mary Jane or whatever, and it's like it just breaks the game up a little bit, I think, and I think it's just pacing. I think if you sit there and enjoy it instead of like being in a rush to, just being at an adrenaline level of like 10,000, it gives you a little bit of pacing throughout the game, which I think it's fairly well done.
Yeah, I did appreciate that there is a rigorous dedication to those beats of a Spider-Man story, where it's like you're out beating up criminals and then you cram all your stuff in a backpack and then you go in a lab and it's like him fixing his hair as you walk in, and then you have to do like a mini game involving chromatic sequencing and stuff. That stuff was cute. I didn't mind the highs and lows of it. It's just, I guess from my perspective as someone who's consumed a lot of Spider-Man, this is just this interesting Frankenstein bit of somebody who went through and just like classified all the bits, ranked them as Spider-Man-iness, and then just took the 8s out of all of it and then stitched it up into a story. So I don't know. I feel like to me this game is best when you're traversing or fighting.
Yeah.
And the down notes are cool because it makes when you get back to that all the more exhilarating. You do your boring lab work and then boom, you're Spider-Man again, zipping across New York. Pretty fucking cool. Also, this game looks incredible. Holy shit.
It's a console game.
Yeah.
No, it's insane.
Are you both playing on pros?
I am, yeah.
I'm playing on a Pro, yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, so
I think it's loud.
what's up?
The Pro.
Like
Oh,
fans.
yeah.
Yeah,
Does it
I
power
have
up
to
real
turn
loud?
my speakers way high because it goes bzzz. Jesus Christ. It's like loading the Mary Jane level. I'm like, really?
So
That's the hard part? All right.
It's Digital Foundry. Everyone's favorite pixel counting Brits did a breakdown of the exact sequence from E3.
I watched this whole video.
Yeah.
And it's awesome.
Digital Foundry has been doing amazing like digital analysis stuff for about a half decade.
Is this like
now.
God of War where it got better or it got worse?
It got better,
Nice.
according to Digital Foundry. So the big things that they pointed out. So this is Puddle Gate or whatever. It's funny because we talked about this last week, and then Kotaku grabbed a hold of it.
Does James
and-
know what Puddle Gate is?
I know.
Okay,
yeah,
good.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
wanna
I
make sure
followed
you-
it. Yeah.
you knew
People
what
are
Puddle Gate was.
upset for no reason again.
Yeah, it really is
I
no
don't know.
reason.
No, there's no reason.
This video does a really good job of debunking all of those things.
So the screenshots that people were mad about, when I looked at them, I was like, okay, somebody might have a reason to be upset about
Yeah,
this.
there is something to it.
Except that it was a confluence of a bunch of factors that, turned out to just, in that one shot, make it not look as good.
It's true.
But yeah, they talk about how the suit is not as shiny, it's just more diffuse, and that's not a texture thing, it's just a lighting thing. They also talk about how, man, the way they break down reflections and how Spider-Man uses them is really incredible. How they kind of had to move the puddles to make it less obvious that they were faking all the reflections and stuff like that. Yeah, if you guys have time, I really recommend watching the Digital Foundry breakdown.
The game is impressive where you'll be swinging through the city at 90 miles an hour. There will be like a fight going on. There's a lot of energy effects going on. You have Spider Bro go out. There's lightning effects. There's web effects. and then there's like the camera will slow down and it's all happening. You're like, I have no idea how this console is not melting right now. It is a very optimized game. I've only experienced like a little bit of slowdown, and it's
A boss fight here or there can and it's only just like and then it goes.
yeah. I've had more slowdown in Hollow Knight than I have had in Spider-Man. That should say something. I mean, it's Hollow Knight on the Switch on on a battery screen or whatever, but
Well, Digital Foundry was saying that the average resolution on a PS4 Pro is like 1540p or something like that, which is obviously well above 1080p, and they said 30 frames a second solid the entire way through, no problem.
it's one of those games too where I said this about Arkham Knight. I remember people being upset about it when they were like, "Oh, it can't run at 60 on PC." I'm like, this is the kind of game I'm okay being at 30 because I can't really tell. It just looks good. And I'm like, I'm one of those snobs where like I'll play Destiny at 144 frames or Overwatch at 144 frames. Like, this is one of those games where it's the bullshit marketing speak of like, oh, it's cinematic, but it's like, it's a very cinematic game, but it also controls really well. It moves fine.
I do think though that if you saw this at 60, you'd be like,
Probably.
the only way to play.
That was actually
Just don't show it to me.
Yeah,
The
this
more
is
that I
the-
watched that video, the more I was like, oh man, I wish this was 60 frames a
This is
second.
the advantage of releasing it on one console,
Yeah.
like having
Yep.
complete control.
You can lock the
over
hardware spec.
the
Well,
final
2
product.
technically, but yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the reason I think it looks so good at 30 is that they have really, really good motion blur. That's one of those things that computer graphics have struggled with for a long time. Why doesn't a video game at like triple the frame rate of 24 frames per second camera, why does it look so much different? The answer is blur. And it's been really hard to fake lens blur in real time, but they're getting closer and closer. And Spider-Man's blur, it's one of those things where once you don't notice it, it's working. And I think the blur in Spider-Man does a lot to make it seem smoother than a 30 FPS game might think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no, I was gonna say it reminds me of like playing Breath of the Wild on the Switch, where you're like, I can't tell what your frame rate is. You move well.
Graphically, my only like nitpick with the game is that they did not get the likeness to Michael Clark Duncan.
Yeah.
That's a tragedy.
So that's it though. That's the
They're
only
like,
thing that
"Get
I
up.
can't really see. Yeah.
Get up.
Can we just scan his face and then like
Yeah, they
eyeball
scan
falling
his
out?
face.
Just scan his face.
Scan his corpse face.
Dude, I don't know if this family would allow that, guys.
The estate of Michael Clark
Are you
Duncan.
kidding me? They're like, yeah.
It's not about you, okay?
Yeah.
For once,
You're dead.
you owe the world the right kingpin, and I don't know how we're gonna.
Yeah, what about
get there
Vincent
without him.
D'Onofrio? They didn't scan Vincent D'Onofrio's face.
Well, who cares about Vincent D'Onofrio?
Exactly.
He's a false king.
It's weird because this Marvel Spider-Man or whatever, to me, and this is me reading between 100 lines. To me, this seems like them trying to kick off a game universe, or rather, it's Insomniac putting their stake in the ground. Because this isn't Cinematic Universe Spider-Man.
Which I'm so happy for.
I
by
am
the
too.
way.
I'm glad it's not a tie-in, but they also reference nearly everything else in Marvel.
Of course.
The weird thing, though, is that when Insomniac said they were making this, I was like, oh, that makes sense. Given the kind of games that Insomniac had made, they had just come off Sunset Overdrive, right? I was like, oh, that totally made sense. Because Sunset Overdrive, from what I had heard from everyone, was a good game, but it was just a new IP that no one was interested in.
I love Sunset Overdrive so
That's
much.
what I'm saying.
Lawrence
That's
Lloyd
all.
loved it.
That's all I've heard is that it was like a great game that was so fun to play, but the IP, it was just like no one cared about that IP.
It was Xbox One launch, which didn't do it any favors. It was also, it was really tied into music culture and specifically like punk rock music culture, which it was a daring bet that in the midst
like-
of EDM, somebody might suddenly rediscover rock music.
A bunch of people who really like Jet Set Radio got
Yep.
together and were like, let's bring it back.
They tried their best.
And then they forgot that no one cared about Jet Set Radio when it came out, and even though people are loud about it, no one still cares about it, right? Like, but
bless them for
so
trying.
when they said they were doing Spider-Man, I was like, oh, that makes sense. They can use the fact that they make really good games, but with a built-in audience for the IP.
Yeah.
I'm curious if they want to turn this into something more like a bigger.
They've already announced
series.
DLC.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, but I'm
the
saying
Black
like
Hat
other
stuff.
characters, other
wouldn't
Marvel
surprise
things.
me.
I'm curious how that would translate because I wouldn't necessarily think of them as being the best people to make a
I could
X-Men game.
I
or
could see them
something,
doing like a Defenders like
a DLC where he plays Daredevil for half
Yeah,
of it or
Daredevil.
something.
Would, I guess 90% of Marvel characters are the same.
Yeah.
The first thing I thought about was Iron Man. I mean, like Iron Man flying through the city of
Yeah.
New York.
Yeah, but see, to me, that feels like you want like Bungie, like someone who does like shooting or like things like that, like really well or something. I don't know.
How does Daredevil traverse? Does he just run across stuff? Does he have like an extendo
He's
rod?
acrobatic. Yeah, and he also has.
how
his
does he
thing.
climb? Yeah,
he
yeah,
can
yeah.
do his thing, which
His
has
batons
his
in
baton
the comics would break apart, and he could like whip it.
like around a light pole.
Kinda
like
Spider-Man.
a spider type man, and he has no fear. So
no fear. That fear is, by the way, to everyone listening, the greatest inhibitor of being able to flip throughout your city.
Yeah.
Fear.
Master fear, and suddenly you become.
I don't want to get off the Spider-Man train too much, but there is a really good Batman episode that I thought was really good where Scarecrow. It's the animated series where they did Batman and Superman Adventures where the style changed a little bit. Everything got everything became chiseled.
Yeah.
Everything was super blocky.
There's a great episode. I just love when people do this when they go, "Wouldn't it be cool if?" And so Scarecrow creates a fear toxin, but it gets rid of fear. So people would do stupid stuff.
Interesting.
And so Batman goes undercover, Bruce Wayne goes undercover as like an investor type or whatever, and they spray him with it, and they just throw him in a zoo, and he sees some crocodiles. He's like, I'm gonna go fight those crocodiles. And they just leave him. They're like, all right, that guy's gonna go kill himself because crocodiles kill him. And then there's just blood in the water, and then
'cause
Bruce
it's
Wayne walks out, and he's like, let's do this. And then he's like, he's doing crazy shit where he's like flying the Batwing up against buildings, and Robin's like, so you got hit with this? He's like, yeah, but I can handle it. It's just like, Jesus Christ. Like, how would Batman be with zero fear? And he starts to just be like a total asshole.
He'd be Daredevil.
Basically.
Everyone's favorite hero.
Well, that's why you can't downgrade from Spider-Man to Daredevil. It's not the access to go. Well, yeah, give us Daredevil.
I mean, that's.
Yeah.
But there are sequences in Spider-Man where he plays Mary Jane, and you're just crawling around, trying not to get seen.
What I'm saying though is like for example, if this game sells well and it's a big hit, which it probably will be, then they're not going to go, all right, well now give us Iron Fist or whatever. Like it's going to be.
I could see it working in a way where they do a Avengers/Defenders type game where you play as multiple characters in the city they've already built, and that could be interesting. We're like, okay, for this segment you play as Iron Fist, and the combat is like really intense and really cool. This part, you're Iron Man. You got to fly through the city really fast. Like I could see that happening, but
or co-op, 4-player co-op,
Man.
where the person who has fun gets Spider-Man, and then the person gets Luke Cage and has to stand there getting shot.
you be Dazzler. Damn it, son of a bitch. I think more than anything though, it proves that the more human your character is, or like the more vulnerable they are, the better video game mechanics play into it. That's why Batman and Spider-Man, I think, work the best. Superman is a fucking bore fest.
Well, that's why they have to figure out. Every single video game at the start figures out. So, like, Arkham City is like, Bruce Wayne's been arrested and he's going to jail, which is the whole city. Like, there's always that whole thing where they've lost their abilities. And when you do it smart, like Arkham does, it makes sense.
What about Hulk? Don't you want to play as
There
Hulk?
already was.
Yeah, there's
I know.
that
I
game
like
was,
that game.
That game was pretty rad.
That's awesome.
The second one.
It's fun.
Hulk.
Age of Destruction or something, or
I forget what it's
Age
called.
of Ultron Destruction.
What is it?
Destruction
Ultimate
Unleashed.
Smash, something like that.
Ultimate.
Jesus.
Yeah,
It's
something.
awesome. It's a great game. I thought it was really
awesome.
fun. I thought it was really fun.
When you go,
Yeah, it was Ultimate
Ultimate
Destruction.
Destruction.
yeah, and you'd have
Yeah.
gloves, and then they basically ripped that whole. They took that whole engine and they used it to make Prototype.
That's all right.
It's basically the same game, except you're not Hulk, so it's not good.
Prototype was okay.
I picked Prototype over Infamous, and I never looked back.
I played both. I guess, well, there were more Infamouses than there were
Yeah.
Yeah.
prototypes.
Which one won in the end? Infamous did.
Yes, it did. They made Second Son, and then that's
I
it.
just
Last
remember
Light.
I saw the trailer for Infamous, and it was a nondescript bald dude firing electric
You mean Cole
bolts,
McGrath?
going pew, 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 and I went, nope, that looks stupid.
Well, he also has a best friend, Zeke, that sounds like Foghorn Leghorn for no
What?
reason. Yeah. There's like a
How
dude
do
in
you
a...
remember Cole McGrath?
Because
and
Infamous
Zeke?
is... I don't know,
He had a-
man.
He had a stick.
I remember playing and be like, what is this? It was... What's weird is that they went from that to Second Son, which is actually really fucking good.
Second Son
like Second
was Prototype style. It like actually had a protagonist who didn't look like a total dweeb knob, and he actually did stuff as opposed to pew 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 pew
Yeah.
pew pew pew.
But
I never played it.
Infamous, I was thinking this because Infamous Second Son is like one of the best looking games on
Yeah.
PS4. Spider-Man is like Infamous if you didn't move like a slow train.
Yeah.
'Cause I know there were cool parts where you could run up buildings and stuff, but Spider-Man does the thing where he looks at the Freedom Tower and goes, yeah, I can get up there in 10 seconds.
Yeah.
It's insane how quick you can move through the city.
Yeah, and you even unlock
fun.
new upgrades to help you move faster and stuff. You can web zip faster. There's little speed boost you get.
Yeah.
I like that they added a lot of traversal options for crossing the tops of buildings as opposed to just swinging next to them, which was pretty cool.
Did Spider-Man's spider sense go off on 9/11?
Yes. Yes.
Is that covered in comics?
I'm pretty sure it was. Because I remember I was reading like month to month Spider-Mans when that happened.
This is one of my favorite moments in
think
Infinity
so.
War. So when he's on the bus, he's like, something's going on. And it's like,
Like,
yeah, no
oh,
shit.
a
The
jump.
fucking, it's already blown up a city block. Thanks for your heads up, Spider Sense. Half the bus is already looking at it, you idiot.
I could be wrong, but like I know that his spider sense gets more intense the more danger there is. So I think there was something like it. He like almost got knocked out by the 9/11 spider sense or something. Which I remember thinking at the time, like, oh, he was like incapacitated because his spider sense was going off.
Well,
which is a
I
weird
mean, there's
irony.
certain things where it's like his spider sense can go off, but what can he do about it?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, there's not much.
Also, what counts as danger with Spider? Is it only when it's danger affecting him?
It's supposed to
I
just
always
be
thought it
him.
was- I always thought it was danger affecting him.
But
Yeah.
it seems like it's danger in general.
Because what if he walks by someone and it's a woman who has like stage 1 breast cancer and he goes,
I know.
then
He can tell her now, yeah, he can tell her now.
He'll go to the lab and then solve it in like 20
yeah, but I'm
minutes.
just saying it would just be going off at all times.
Kind of.
Or
So,
a lot of
yeah.
false negatives. At some point, you numb it. You tune it out.
Well, that's one of like the weirdest parts of Spider-Man's toolkit in terms of powers is that the explanation's supposed to be, and this is something I've never perceived happening, is that when you're about to smack a spider with a roll of newspaper, it just knows and like gets out of the way. I've never seen that happen. I try not to kill spiders because I have an affinity for Spider-Man.
I think it's more tied to when a spider is in a web. The spider at the center of the web can tell whenever anything's happened. I think it's more tied to, because basically if a spider is in a web and it's doing nothing and then a fly gets caught on the other side of the web, it'll go, it's there. Because spiders are tuned in to their
web.
sensory,
Yeah.
and so the idea being that he's kind of doing that with the world.
It's more of a predatory thing than a defensive thing. I'm going to look this up.
Or like if someone walks through that web, there, like the spiders immediately know there, that's where it came
He
from.
looked up the Spider Sense wiki.
I'm really curious now.
Because I don't know. I have no idea. I just assumed he knew danger was close.
How about this? Stan Lee said, I don't care. I'm
Yeah.
getting paid this week.
He looked out his window and said, "What if we could go thwip-thwip?" And they said, "Whatever, smoke more
You
pot."
got it. Says spider sense alerts him to danger, perfect balance, and oh no wait, that's one of the those are the powers. So spider sense alerts him to danger. Where's the explanation?
If a hobo is walking, if he's on the subway
Yeah.
and a hobo masturbates above him and the semen is going to fall on him, will his spider sense alert him? It's not going to cause him any danger.
It should.
But it's not going to cause him any danger. It's just a little semen.
Yeah, but
I mean, he probably, if you asked him
'Cause he
ahead of
doesn't wanna
time, he wouldn't want to get hit by semen. But
because to me, Spider Sense says that if like a bird's going to shit on you, you move out of the way as the shit's falling down. Because you don't want to get hit with it, regardless of danger.
I don't know if that stuff
you don't-
happens, though. I don't know
you
if
don't wanna
there's
get
a
hit with bird
precedent for
shit.
that
I don't know if there's a precedent for that. I have no
in
idea.
Spider-Man comics. I feel like he's gotten shit on
So-
before.
He has.
I was thinking about. I was thinking
Maybe he
about
lets
this.
it happen. It's like a Clark Kent thing. He doesn't want
Oh,
people
yeah.
knowing that he can dodge shit all the time.
I was thinking about this when I was playing the game because I was always like, why does he get hit? Because Spider-Man gets hit a lot, and
He's not supposed to.
right. But
He's supposed to be pretty brittle.
But I'm saying in movies and stuff,
He gets
it's
hit all
always
the
like,
time, yeah.
you're like,
was just beat up.
How did Star-Lord get a web around him when they fight briefly in Infinity War? And I'm like, well, in the game, your spider sense is going off constantly but there's a lot of stuff happening off screen you can't see. There's a guy with a rocket launcher, there's a guy with a gun, and you'll get hit because you're just overwhelmed. I'm like, I guess that kind of makes sense that there's just so much going on you can't. It's hard enough for us as people just to focus on one thing at a time. I could see that being sort of a realistic reason.
Well, I mean, it's the same as if someone tossed a football and you're not paying attention. They go, heads up! That's basically what Spider Sense is.
Well, I thought
It's
his was
always
like
someone shouting heads up.
according
It doesn't necessarily get him out of the way.
according to the lore-inducing Sam Raimi films. Everything slows down, and then he can just
You can catch the food of the trade. Like
That was a cinematic representation
Also,
of him understanding
Tobey
what it
Maguire
was.
really did that.
Yeah, that blew
after
my mind.
150 takes.
Thank you, movie details.
I knew
That's
you'd
not a
laugh.
movie detail.
I mean, that is kind of a movie detail.
I mean, it's a
right?
movie.
Not
fact.
a movie detail, it's just what they had to do. Here's another movie detail. The costume designer had to bring him jeans because Spider-Man's wearing jeans. That's what they had to do to get them into jeans.
I thought he had to get his own jeans.
What's the line between trivia and details?
boy.
A detail is something that the creative team put in there with not necessarily the intention of you finding, but knowing that it enhanced the greater product if you are to discover it.
Okay.
That's what a detail is.
Gotcha.
Not something that goes into the making of a movie. That's not a detail.
I always thought that sequence when he catches the food on the tray was CG.
Me too.
But then when I found out it wasn't, I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Great trivia.
Yeah?
Not a detail of the movie.
Okay, all right, understood.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Movie detail would be, I don't know. This is sort of
Movie
like
detail would be in the background of that scene, there is a person who is dressed like Eddie Brock, who is never mentioned or acknowledged, but they put him
But
there.
the creators put him there just for fun.
Because they were like, someone might see this, and
Yeah.
we can also reference this later as having been attentive to the
Yeah.
product that we were making.
I feel like the movie detail thing has become
Brock
basically,
was in
Egg, you're right,
Spider-Man
it's like pornography for this. They're like, when this character says this, they do it again later. Like, yes, that is called a callback. We do that in
yes.
film all the time.
I-
Edgar Wright just does it better
foreshadowing.
than most people.
I was going to say, yes, that in some sense is a detail, but is the dullest of details that it isn't worth noting because it was there to help you understand
It was
what
there
you're
for you
watching.
to notice, right? Yeah.
It's like, did you notice that at the beginning of the movie it starts? That's not a detail. That's
love how
just
much
because you
James-
can't get
I love
into
how
the
much
movie
James takes
if it doesn't begin.
It is a
details.
detail. Technically, it is a detail. It's just, it's sort of like Alanis Morissette singing a bunch of things that are ironic, but they're not really ironic, but then it makes the entire song ironic.
I want James to go and shut down movie details. I want him to
can't.
go in and
They're
just
doing it themselves.
turn the tables over.
They're doing it themselves. There was one
And
recently.
their offices on Sunset.
There was one recently. Fuck, what was it?
Fuck you guys!
I think it was a Spider-Man detail from one of the movies,
All right.
and
Was it about him
what the
catching
post
food?
that is of itself was someone who had repurposed the previous time it was posted on Movie Details.
Oh, jeez.
They had reposted this post and it had 14,000 upvotes. It's nonsense over there. It's crazy people.
So you're touching on something that frustrates me as an avid collector of dumb internet photos. I'll see it one resurface again, and it's just like, yeah, this was popular 10 years ago. There is an abandonment of the idea that you're not allowed to enjoy something if it's not original. Somebody's like, oh, I didn't know that, and they don't appreciate any of the context around it. It's just for the 5 seconds I was not doing my job and looking at this, I liked it. So I clicked the upvote, and that's it. So yeah, there's no accountability anymore for these clicks. These upvotes, man.
The greatest people on the earth are the people that preface by saying, sorry if this is a repost, but. Those are the kindest human beings. We should give them the world. Because other people will be like, hey, I just found this fight from They Live. It's really long. I should post this. Like, you thought you, in 2018, were the first person to find this YouTube video that you didn't post. And you're going to post it here on our videos? So that way you could finally share it with everyone. Thank God for you, sir. We found out this existed.
It's the guy when there's 3 lanes of traffic. We're all trying to go straight on the two left lanes, but the one guy in the middle lane is merging right, slowing everyone down. And he goes, "But me,
Yeah. It's me. It's my turn.
it's my I know I'm fucking you up, but it's me."
Well-
and you go, "I don't know you. Fuck off."
Maybe I do want to see that fight scene from They Live. Maybe I do.
Okay.
Maybe I do.
It's just the
But
thing you need.
you didn't find it.
Oh, so it's the
Put
presumption.
it out there again.
Yeah, just say like,
Reminding everyone that
yeah,
this
this is
exists.
so cool. I love this. I wanted you guys to see it
sometimes I
again.
think of this. It makes me feel. It makes me laugh no
Yeah.
matter what's going on.
I made this.
But you didn't find it because it's someone else's YouTube
I
link
got
from
it.
a movie you didn't make that's 40 years old.
The presumption of discovery is what's aggravating.
Yes.
I see. That makes total sense. People need to know when they don't know anything. That'd make the world a better
They didn't
place.
share it with me. Okay,
James already saw it.
we saw it.
Sorry, Omar, I fucked up my mic.
Wow. Well, while you do that, let me read an ad. There it is. Hey, this podcast is sponsored by Mac Weldon. There's something James said a long time ago, and it's stuck with me ever since. If you lean forward enough, you might be able to get in that camera. Just throwing that out there. There it is.
What a
Tell us,
weird,
Lawrence.
That's
I
a
will.
weird shot.
James once said that putting on Mac Weldon's feels like, what is it, putting on armor? I actually don't remember. Anyway, I've since adapted it in my head. I put it through movie details a couple of times, and it came out now feeling like, I honestly, ever since, I felt like Spider-Man putting on my underwears. It's true. I never had underoos as a kid, but I did have a Spider-Man poster on my wall. And ever since then, I've looked and felt and wondered, what would it feel like to wear that spider suit, clutching every last inch of me, keeping everything exactly where it needs to be. And that's exactly what Mac Weldon underwear feel like. They're soft, they cling, but not in a bad way. Not like a preacher way, in a good way. And I implore you to discover this for yourself. So whether you're using your PlayStation 4 to pretend to be Spider-Man, you can feel like Spider-Man all day in a pair of Mack Weldon underwear. They also sell shirts and sweatshirts, sweatpants, sweat shorts, which is some new tech you need to get your hands on. That's not very Spider-Man unless you're like Scarlet Spider and like rocking the weird cutoff vest and stuff. Which, spoilers, is a skin. I know, sorry. But you can get 20% off your entire Mack Weldon order at mackweldon.com using our promo code SOUP. It's again, mackweldon.com. Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
Promo code SOUP for 20% off your entire order. You should check them out. They got a lot of good stuff. If you've had ratty underwear in the past, maybe that waistband's starting to fall off, and especially if your bits aren't hanging where they need to, check it out. mackweldon.com, 20% off using our promo code SOUP. Thank you for the sponsorship, Mack Weldon. Thank you, Insomniac, for the Spider-Man game.
Thank you, Lord.
Yeah.
Band?
Despite harping on, even though people have already left their angry comments, I'm going to try to salvage my actual opinion.
I also want to talk about Puddle Gate after you're done.
Oh, sure.
Because I want to talk about, because Puddle Gate is important to me.
What did you say? It sounded like you were going to cry.
Sorry, go ahead.
Godfather.
You finish yours.
So yeah, all the elements in the game to me range from great to good, and the good things is only me explaining why they're not great. So to me, the story's good. It's not great. It's good. Combat's great. Traversal's great. The non-Spider-Man parts are good. I'm glad they're in there. But yeah, to me, I'm just excited because this is a really amazing game. It's really just fun to explore. I'm scared of when I do everything, because then it'll all be done. And what do I do then?
This is one of those games where I want them to keep putting DLC out.
Yeah.
I feel like the base of the game is so good that if instead of working on a sequel, they said, here's basically an expansion, it's $20 and you're gonna get an extra like 10 hours of gameplay, I'd be like, yeah, go for it.
Just like GTA 5.
I was going to say, that's GTA 5 syndrome is what that is.
I guess
Kind of.
I
Well,
think
not
it's
really.
more like
Destiny
GTA 4.
They put it in all the wrong places.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't mean DLC. I mean the fact that the base of the game
yeah,
is so
yeah.
good that you can pile a bunch of other things on top
yeah,
of it
yeah.
and be like, yeah, I'll keep playing it.
Breath of the Wild.
Every
too.
every
Breath of
single
the
time
Wild.
I feel that way about a game, it never happens though.
Yeah.
I was like, Burnout Paradise? They could just keep adding on, baby. They're like, Stunt Island, game over.
We're closed.
Yeah.
Get out.
What is your Puddle Gate?
Oh well, I mean, I watched the Digital Foundry video, and like I said, that should end Puddlegate, I think, once and for all. It really should, because it was one of those things where the more that they described it, and I guess if you buy into their theories, which the theories are well founded, you find out it's just an artistic decision. That's all it was. It was like basically like they were saying, no, they just decided to change the lighting, but they changed the textures. They moved things around. They changed the reflections in the water or on the buildings and things like that. They changed those cube maps for the video game, but it was never for performance sake. It was only because they were like, oh, well, this looks a little better. And again, that video does a fantastic job of describing that.
Yeah.
And while I think Puddlegate was founded in the sense that you could look at two side-by-side screenshots and be like, okay, yeah, I guess the E3 demo looks better here in this one section. The rest of that E3 demo in the actual video game, Digital Foundry goes through and says, this part looks better, there's more traffic here, there's a better motion blur here. So overall, the video game right now in release looks better than the E3 demo. So
It is pretty amazing.
it's pretty objective. Like, I don't think it's subjective. It looks objective. It's pretty objective to me.
It's almost tied to the fact that sometimes you have to stop and go, do I have any expertise in this before I pass judgment?
Yeah.
I know no one ever does, but
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's kind of guilty of it.
That's
in a lot of ways.
yeah, James. There's two elements to it. One of which you hit, the other which Bruce hit. Is that the one of everyone has eyeballs, and I don't want to make it sound like unless you've made a game or you understand how rendering engines work, you're not allowed to critique how a game looks.
No, of course not.
But that's certainly not the point, and especially when the creative director of the game is talking directly to you and saying, "I made the thing," and you're telling me I'm lying. Like, what
Does this guy know?
Maybe listen to them.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, it's all right.
I was going to say, but that reminded me of another thing. Did you see the discussion this weekend over comic book authors and stuff?
Yeah.
How breaking into Marvel and DC
I saw a little bit of that.
and stuff, and people were like,
I saw the hot takes, but not the original.
someone was talking about how they were, I think, upset with an author because they didn't like it, and they're like, this is what happens when you let people who don't have any experience write for these big publishers. And then a lot of other comic book authors got involved and said this is the only way you can get in. Like, how else are you supposed to get in? It's that whole thing where you need 10 years experience for an entry-level job kind of thing. And they're like, how are you supposed to get in if they don't take a chance?
Right.
And that's one of the best things about some of the best authors they've gotten. And people are like, you should just go write at like indie publishers and get your, that's how you build your resume is at the indie publisher. And then once you've proven yourself, then you can come in and write at Marvel and DC. And then Neil Gaiman jumped in and it was like, not how it worked for me.
No.
He's like, I had 0 published works when DC decided to take a chance on me. And so like, I think you're completely wrong about it. And then someone replied to him and was like, oh yeah, what about these? And like showed him his own resume of stuff and was like, it says here that you wrote these other things before you ever worked, these other indie comics before you ever worked with DC or anything like that. And then he had to explain, it was like they're gotcha-ing Neil Gaiman
On
about
his own
comic book
career.
writing. And then he was like, so how publishing works is sometimes you can write something, but it doesn't come out until after a certain amount of time because someone has to draw it in comics and like all these other things have to happen. Yeah. He's like, I had no published works when I got the job at DC, even though after I had gotten the job at DC, other things I had worked on came out before my first work at DC came out. And the person was like, I don't believe you. All right, please argue with one of the most renowned authors currently working and having worked in our age about their own resume, you person who has no expertise on this issue.
Twitter is slowly revealing why no one should be using Twitter. It is, it's giving...
J.K. Rowling gets that all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just saying, like, we have so much access to everyone now.
Yeah.
Maybe we all just stop.
Well, it's not to get too far down a tech rabbit hole, but a lot of people, and this is like Kojima was on this shit way back when. This is part of what Metal Gear Solid 2 was talking about. Is that when everyone has a Twitter account, everyone speaks at the same volume, and the human race had a great way of sort of quieting the dumb shit, or at least the smart stuff, the productive stuff was the stuff that stuck around. Now some asshole calling Neil Gaiman out on his own resume, that is, it's up there with the same font and the same typeface as Neil Gaiman himself, and it implies an equality of what they're saying, even though it's not coming from the same place.
Is it Gaiman or Gaiman? That was Gaiman.
I'm not sure.
Have I been saying it wrong?
I've
been saying
maybe I've
Crandall.
heard Gaiman, but I have never asked him, so I don't know.
Maybe
I
you
met
should.
him once when he was working on Mirror Mask.
Oh, wow.
How did he introduce himself, Gaiman or Gaiman?
He said, I'm Neil. Nice
Neil.
to meet you.
He said Neil from Mirror Mask.
And I had no idea who he was because I was working at G4. I booked him for Attack of the Show, and 13 people freaked the fuck out and had their copies of Sandman on and went, please sign this. And I was like, I don't know who you are. I have a picture with him somewhere where I'm like, this is a very nice guy. It's cool. And then years later, I read Good Omens. I'm like, oh, fuck, that guy was awesome. And then I read American Gods. I'm like, oh, God, he was really cool.
Yeah, great author.
Still is.
Yeah, he's still writing good shit.
All right, Jazzin insists it's gay man in chat, so.
Neil Gaiman.
Wait, hold on. Maybe he's talking about a different
Oh, he
topic.
might be, yeah. New Spider-Man villain. Or hero.
Did we get gotted?
You decide.
We got it.
She's like, I see 4 gay men right now.
he's talking about something else.
Hell yeah.
I'm just curious, how do they keep you inside Manhattan? It appears
There's
as though
nothing to
you're
swing
like
on to
limited-
leave.
I haven't tried to leave yet.
There's nothing to swing on. Like, you just don't.
There's a Manhattan bridge and stuff.
Yeah, I haven't tried going out on the bridge. I'm assuming he just turns around. So there's a couple of notes that I thought were interesting. One is that the swinging is kind of faked, but kind of real. So Spider-Man 2 is
like
fully
Spider-Man.
real. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man, like classic Spider-Man 2, the one that everyone always cites as being like, oh, it's so good. That was like full-on real. You had to attach to something. This one, like there has to be something kind of close and it'll attach off screen. And I can tell that hinge point kind of moves too. So they do a lot of fudging to make it feel good.
Yeah.
But
It's
still,
a nice balance.
It's a balance, yeah. It's not flying with those swinging
because
animation.
there is a attack move that you can do. It's very like Devil May Cry, God of War. Knock someone up in the air, you combo them, but then you could do a web swing. You could do it on top of a building. You're like, what do you?
There's nothing above
Yeah, what
it.
are you what are you attaching to there, Spidey?
Well, you
but
do that a lot in this game, where like you'll shoot up and it'll just see a straight up and it'll attach to something.
It's the moon.
There's nothing there.
It's always the moon.
Yeah.
It's like, which is fine.
there's a
comics
part.
are.
There's a part where you have to.
Satellites.
There's a side mission thing where It's funny too. The side missions are always like really weird because
They're goofier.
the base game it's very it's somewhat grounded and very like
It's as edgy PG-13 as you can get.
pretty much yeah.
Or like people die, but somebody just like walks right through frame right as their neck snaps, so you don't actually see it happen.
Yeah.
A lot of implied violence.
Okay. All right.
There was a mission fail I did as Spider-Man or whatever, and then they were like, "There's the bad guys are holding a woman hostage," and the camera moves over, and they goes bang, and I went, "Oh fuck!"
Oh, jeez.
Like they didn't show it, but I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh god!" Like I want to fail more of the missions because I think the
QTE stuff?
like the Mary Jane scenes and stuff like
Oh.
that. There's some pretty funny things, but
That's the classic Spider-Man 3.
I don't know.
Like him going to defuse and then just face planting.
Yeah, that's what 3 was known for. Piece of shit.
Everyone said 3 was bad. I don't understand why.
I don't remember.
That was a
The
more of the
movie?
same kind of game. No,
Oh, the game.
Spider-Man 3, yeah, based on the movie.
It was
or
the
whatever.
movie, the game, the movie.
Yeah.
That movie's okay. As long as the movie's garbage, we can all agree that it's garbage.
Most of the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies are not
Whatever.
good.
No, I disagree.
They're batting a solid third.
I would say
Spider-Man 2 is
Spider-Man 1.
great.
Your problem is you compare it to what's available now.
That's true.
At the time, Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2 were great movies. Sam Raimi, though, he self-sabotages, and when he makes it a perfect movie, he's like, maybe I should put in something to just make sure it's not a 100. Like to make sure it's not a perfect score. So like every Spider-Man movie, 3 is a bunch of them, but Spider-Man 1 and 2. 2 is like a near perfect movie,
Yeah.
except for raindrops
Oh,
are
I thought that
falling
was
on my
fine.
head. I'm like, nope,
That was
completely
cute.
ruined me for that whole movie.
There's no need.
I don't know.
Aw,
There-
he was
it's-
having a good time.
You
He's
can
eating his
do
hot
it
dog.
without raindrops are falling on my head and asking Tobey Maguire looked even dumber than he just looks
Yeah.
straight up. Like
I just there was parts of 2. I'll give you that. 1 and 2 are like moments they're good, especially for nostalgia reasons. And I am a big Spider-Man fan. Even parts of the cartoon I'll rewatch, and they're still total garbage. But watching Eddie Brock
yeah.
lift is pretty cool.
yeah.
But I hated in 2. They did the thing like, what if Spider-Man didn't want to be Spider-Man anymore? And I went, no! He should always want to be Spider-Man. He shouldn't throw his
but- I
mean,
suit
that's
away
also-
by the second movie. He's like, I'm tired.
That's all any hero ever does.
Yeah, that's the most core Spider-Man arc. He gives up being Spider-Man every other
I was
month.
gonna say, like,
Hate it.
in the comic though, that's what he does. Like,
I'm
that's
waiting
how-
for that to happen in this
the,
game.
The interesting thing is that's how they tricked you into reading the next issue or whatever.
'Cause
Like,
he's like,
they're,
will he stop?
yeah,
being
will
Spider-Man?
Spider-Man quit being Spider-Man?
That's one of the most famous covers, right? Of him walking down an alleyway with a Spider-Man suit
Yeah.
hanging out of the trash can.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Which
that's totally
is,
mimicked.
which by the way, is a shot in Spider-Man 2.
Oh yeah.
A movie detail.
Detail.
An actual one.
Every single hero story has exactly the same.
I
Superman
know.
does it. Batman does it. Everybody does it.
I'm just saying-
They all go, I don't want to be Superman. I don't want to be Batman
Well, don't get me
anymore."
wrong. They did it even worse in Amazing Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah, they
Where
did.
Dennis
Oh,
Leary's
yeah.
Oh
like,
yeah, that
yes.
was great.
he's like, Peter, don't fuck my daughter. Whatever you do,
like, I won't.
you are cancer. Whoever you touch will die. Promise me, Peter.
I promise you.
I'm dead.
All right. Immediately.
And then Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
like, Peter,
Wow,
you're
Gwen's
cancer.
dead.
Whatever you do, you everything you touch dies. That's not true, Gwen. Neck snaps. And he's like,
It's funny because there could have been like how sequels are supposed to make the movies prior better. That could have been like he was a fucking asshole. What an immature teenage child he
true.
was
Yeah.
to disregard it. He's like, well, but I love her, and love is stronger than all things, or whatever. Gets her murdered, and then he goes, oh fuck, he was right. And then you go into the third one with him dealing with that
Yeah.
kind of shit, right? But by the end of the second one, he's like, nah,
I'm the coolest.
She
Yeah.
gave a speech about me.
Yeah.
She's cool.
I'm the coolest Spider-Man
She
ever.
would have wanted to be dead.
hey audience, you want to see me fight that rhino? Yeah. Hey audience, in the seats who paid me. You want to see me fight that rhino? Yeah. All right. And fuck you,
This
movie.
can't be the end. It's the shot from the trailer. It's over.
James and I were sitting in there alone in the theater.
Yeah. I think the first thing I said to you was my favorite part was Electro, which is saying something. I was like, Jamie Foxx got so much flack for his portrayal of Electro
He did a
as
great
a
job.
man and as an Electro or whatever afterwards. He's the only person who knew how that movie should have played out.
Yeah, put together a performance.
I still stand by this, and people can, whatever, be very angry with me and crucify me for this. I don't feel like there's been a perfect Spider-Man movie yet. Even Homecoming, I think
there hasn't.
I think Homecoming has some issues. I think it's probably the best.
I don't know, what would you call
Why?
that?
What But
Marvel, like this video game, is if you mathematically tried to crank out a Spider-Man story. That is what this is.
But I was gonna say this game is it feels like a nice balance of all of it. It is, and like I said, I am an apologist and I love Spider-Man almost regardless. I will love him.
Prove it. Suck his dick right now.
I would.
Let me throw you this out for you right
Unconditional love for Spider-Man is what I have.
now. It's not a movie, but what about the MTV show that looks like Proto Ruby,
Yeah.
starring Ian Ziering?
Wait, the 2003?
and Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah, that one.
yeah.
Ooh, boy.
It had a John Digweed song
I
in
don't know
the
what
beginning.
the hell you're talking
That's
about.
like
Yeah,
a
that
trance
was a good
song,
one.
right?
Yeah.
Where there is nothing more.
It's a song
like,
called Heaven Sent. You should look it up. It's
There's
pretty rad.
nothing more 2000s than that show.
That
That's
did
when he was
one
in
of
college,
the,
right?
That's near perfect.
That also did one of the worst things ever, where they introduce a villain and they kill him in the first episode. And they go, "Yeah, we don't plan on bringing him back." Like, you idiots. Like,
I'm gonna say that most Spider-Man stories are not perfect, and they probably never have
No,
been.
no,
I think Spider-Man,
okay.
like from the comic book boom that you remember,
Yeah.
that's why we're all so excited about Spider-Man, because we read those comics, we know about Spider-Man, it was a big deal for us. But then I haven't gone back and read those comics. I don't know if they're good or
Sure.
not.
I mean,
Omar, I need
read
music right now.
I read
Hold on.
whatever 6 volumes of Essential Spider-Man, like I don't know, 10 years ago. I started when I was in college, and I just kept reading and went through like however many volumes were available at the time of Essential. So I read it, but I mean, at the time, I was reading it through the lens of like, this is pretty archaic form of writing. Conceptually, everything is great, but in execution, it's all pretty bad by now's standard.
Oh, yeah,
but like,
heavy-handed, yeah.
you know, that's how most things work. Like if you compare
Totally, yeah.
hour-long television dramas from only pre-Sopranos to what they are now, you're like, oh shit, how did people watch TV back then?
it's sort of like how Bruce is watching America's Next Top Model right now. You know there's parts of it that are bad, but you know there's something really good that keeps it going. Maybe that's a bad comparison.
There's no good thing there at all.
Oh.
It's like literally throwaway television. I love it. That's
Okay.
why I love it.
That's you can't do that with Bruce because he watches TV that he admits is garbage.
That's true.
I
I know that it's throwaway
yeah.
television.
There's like if he went to, you're like, Bruce, why are you eating in that dumpster? He goes, I like eating trash.
I don't
Not that there's some redeeming nutritional value.
argument
here. He
there.
goes, no, the diapers, I like them.
I don't know in our lifetime we will see I mean, I don't know if I even want it, a Dark Knight level of Spider-Man. Like, Dark Knight to me is the quintessential like superhero movie for mass media that is an Academy Award-winning film. It hit all the right notes where I'm like, this is perfection. You did it. That is what a perfectly paced movie. What a great villain. What's something that's so realistically grounded. I love Spider-Man for its silliness. I love his quirkiness. I love the villains, how cartoonish they can be, but they are constantly trying to reinvent those characters and make them likable, realistic, and fun for everybody. This game actually, to me, feels like a really nice marriage of all the best things from the Sam Raimi stuff, from the new Marvel Cinematic Universe, even the old cartoon. It is like this big love letter to Spider-Man. It feels like it was made by people who legitimately love Spider-Man, and I think it's a big reason why I like it.
That's really well said.
Yeah.
I have a more cynical view.
Okay.
I think that Insomniac pitched a story to Marvel multiple times. Marvel rejected them all because they all tried to do something. And then the one Marvel ultimately approved is the one that just has the nice parts of all of Spider-Man in it. Just all packed into one little thing. And it reminds me honestly a lot of Battlefront 2. Of like the story, how it ended up being exactly Star Wars, every note of it. There wasn't a single thing that was interesting or unique about it.
Yeah, that's frustrating.
But
one.
the way you said it makes me think more kindly of it for sure. To me, this was a story by committee or a story by like a bunch of money people all deciding what is and isn't appropriate to put in a product. But the way you put it as more of a love letter, is more of a montage of Spider-Man stuff.
There is also this weird fascination in the Spider-Man community, I being guilty of it myself, where everyone's obsessed with Venom and symbiotes. How do you say it now? I always forget.
Well, it's the one defining
Symbiote.
villain.
All the comments said symbiotes.
Symbiote now.
Symbiote, yeah.
Symbiote. That's what I say it. That's
Would you
something-
Symbiote.
describe something as being symbiotic? Or
symbiotic.
symbiotic.
Symbiote. Symbiote. I don't know. Either way. So far, there have been no real mention. He does say lethal protector once in the game.
Oh, yeah.
There's a part where there's like a Spider-Man imposter, and he's like,
Oh, yeah, that
he
was
goes, doesn't feel like it's a lethal protector. And I was like, hey, good reference. That's it though. And I don't think Spider-Man needs Venom to be successful, which is nice in a video game.
Even
That being said, just
thematically.
because Web of Shadows was like my favorite one before this.
Venom's always a weird fit. Spider-Man anyway, because his monster roster is all like animal based, and like Kraven is also a hunter. Like he's supposed to be animalistic, or rather, that seemed to be how he was set up. Even with like his B grade shit, like the beetle and the owl, and even the vulture and shit like that, which is weird that the vulture is coming up again.
Prowler.
Yeah,
Prowler's a character.
Tombstone. Like it's either 90s mafia or like New York mafioso or animal themed villains.
Remember, was it Smythe?
Oh yeah, Alistair
He's like-
Smythe.
He's like, I'm in a wheelchair. I get superpowers. Now I just have things on my
Spider
shoulders.
Slayers.
Oh yeah, Spider Slayers.
so you can sell toys. Yeah, the 90s animated show was a special thing.
It's a mess.
That's
Remember
pretty
how
cool.
they combined Gwen Stacy and Felicia Hardy into one character?
I didn't even know there were two characters.
I
always thought there were one.
some of my earliest childhood fantasies when I didn't understand what was happening to me was because she's Felicia Hardy, but then she gets the Black Cat superpowers, and her boobs get bigger.
Hell yeah, they do.
I just remember like going to sleep, going like, "Yeah, I'm okay with that." She goes from banging hot to banging hot.
Hot turd. Yeah.
That was a weird kind of trope in the 90s with the cartoon. Did you ever watch it, Bruce?
I'm sure that I did.
Okay.
I don't remember a thing about it.
Every woman, and I think including Aunt May, were just sex slaves for Peter, who is the most Brady Bunch looking fucker in
Oh,
the
yeah.
world.
He's also jacked.
He's huge.
He's like the
and, yeah, but
biggest
has a side
Spider-Man
part.
ever. He's
Yeah.
like, what's up?
Yeah.
Everyone's drawn.
Oh, Peter, you're so nerdy.
But he's always wearing like a polo and he's got like dumpy hair.
Yeah.
And then Mary Jane comes in with her like her fuck me eyes and she's like, hey Tiger, I'm a model, fuck me. And he's like, not now, Mary. and then
Rhino's robbing the bank.
Black Cat comes in, she's like, oh little
You want
spider.
to fuck in our costumes? Can't. Someone's robbing the
look it up?
lab.
Can you
Uncle Ben's looking at me.
Can you look it up? Because I want to see pictures of Black Cat now.
Oh man.
Well, you got to see her transform in the show
From-
a hot, big-breasted woman to a hotter, bigger-breasted woman.
I would say in this game, I've already seen the picture of what Black Cat looks like. They've toned it down.
Puddle Gate.
Oh yeah. I know what this is.
Black Cat is totally in. I mean, she's the Catwoman of the game. She's
Yeah.
always like playfully flirting.
I mean, I don't know if it's playful.
So that's not happy
Fan-made
about
music video.
Not happy about them removing Gwen Stacy, but
That's right. He was jacked.
yeah, he's jacked. I
He
mean,
was
everyone
huge.
was.
He was a bust.
Is this the Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Well,
no,
no, that's
no.
the 60s
This is
one.
radioactive spider blorp.
Yeah.
Spider blorp.
it's
Spider
the-
blorp.
Imagine a robot singing into another robot.
And then they're like, her guitarist is waiting.
Yeah, hold on. Let me pull up that hot track.
Is there? Yeah, there's a weird part where it goes.
Yeah, that's cool.
Is this
Oh
cool?
yeah.
Wait,
I mean, it's the 90s for sure. Yeah, it's all distorted.
Vocaloid getting run over by a trash
It's
can.
the kind of song you would write if you had only learned how to play guitar like maybe 3 or 4 months ago and you started on an electric guitar with an amp, right? Like as opposed to learning on a traditional guitar or whatever.
acoustic guitar?
You go, it's not a solo technically. It's just like you learned how to run your fingers.
It's a mess.
This shit is ingrained into a lot of people's DNA.
I do remember
It's
this.
just blah, 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 blah. And then Venom shows up for half a second and he's got weird big lips for some reason.
I know that
It's like there's only solos that you can 100% in Rock Band. You're like, oh, yeah, this is an easy one.
4 seconds long.
Yeah.
But in the game, they do. Mary Jane at least doesn't feel like she's just a vehicle. She's not just a hole for Peter to get into.
Well, she's like a precocious reporter, which is like, you did the one other thing. Like, that's it.
I don't know. I mean, they at least they established they had a pre-existing relationship, and there's
Are they
something
together
there.
in the game?
Are they, Bruce?
But it's not like
Well,
married.
they won't they?
It's not like
Yeah.
married, post-married.
No,
Not like
they're
Amazing
in that weird
Spider-Man.
middle phase.
Yeah, it's not a.
He's graduated college, but he doesn't have a job yet. It's
Is
like
Gwen
a full-time
Stacy
job.
dead in this?
Gwen Stacy's not referenced
I haven't,
as far as I can
haven't
tell.
heard anything yet. Yeah.
This is
Stacy is the superior.
See, that's what's weird about this is, like I said, this is edgy PG-13 all the way. So I think they were just straight up avoiding any reference to Gwen Stacy or anyone dying that isn't Uncle Ben. And then it's weird because like people will die, but they never talk about death. It's a very Star Wars kind of way of doing it.
Yeah,
Keep playing.
the thing about
I got to that. They still don't like. They gloss over that real fast. They'll reference it a couple
Spoilers.
times because that's
Sorry.
like, well,
Sorry,
I'm
someone
being
might
generic
die.
about
Someone
it.
might die.
No, well, yeah, sure, whatever.
Maybe.
I mean, that's
Michael Clark Duncan?
Kingpin.
Well, he just got his shins kicked in.
Yeah. Oh, I like that he basically lost a fight to Daredevil by stubbing his toe.
If I kick those legs in real bad, I don't know.
You kicked my legs.
Anyway, Spider-Man's real good.
Do you get to see Colin Farrell's bullseye in this?
Great question.
Just the sex tape of him fucking that porn star.
Oh man, well that's great.
when he still has a shaved head.
kinda what I wanna
Just a
see.
model. I don't think she was a porn star.
Was she not a porn
All
star?
right, let's
she was
let's
just
net
a
hard.
model.
Oh, I think she was a model with a sex
yeah.
addiction.
We've all what? The fuck? Anyway, we
Any of us here? Any of these gay men?
I think she like had to go to a doctor. She was like she
Transparency
had to go to rehab
so
because she's like
good.
I have a sex problem.
Who?
And Colin Farrell.
Didn't that happen to Lenny Kravitz too?
You would have a sex problem if you had sex with Colin
No.
Farrell too.
Who was the one?
David Duchovny.
Well, no, he played a guy with a sex.
No, but he actually, I
He
think he
actually had a
did.
sex- yeah.
He literally did have a sex addiction.
I
Method
love
act-
that. That's my favorite thing in the world.
Method
A
actor.
sex
I
addiction?
have a sex.
getting into the sex
I can't
addiction
stop having
There's like
sex.
this is how all the meeting you go to the meetings and it's a bunch of dudes and they go, my name is James and I have a sex addiction. I had sex with 114 women just last week, and then everyone goes, welcome James, and then they all like small
high
high
five.
like hitting high fives or like fist pounds and stuff.
Was,
They're
it,
like-
was it Blades of Glory? Is one of those Will Ferrell movies where he tries to pick up people at sex addiction like meetings?
You know they fuck.
Well, that was yeah. They like
I know that it is a serious problem that people deal with,
Yeah.
but also it's really hard to look into it and be like, I can't believe this is like a serious thing. It really is. I know that it is.
I know.
But it's like,
From the outside.
I
looking
wish
in.
that I, but then I don't wish.
but
that
it's still,
No,
you know,
'cause-
it's still the meetings.
I mean, have you seen Michael Fassbender's Shame? He goes
Yeah.
he goes to some,
Oh,
he goes
no, I
some
haven't
dark
seen that.
places where he's just like, I need to just get off in any way, shape, or form, and then he lets a dude suck him off, and then to prove that Michael Fassbender's not gay, he immediately has a three-way because that's how math works.
It is how
figured
math
it out.
works.
Yeah. I think in his brain he was like, I don't want people to think I'm gay.
What happens when you're an addict? All right, let's net hard. We actually have gone way longer than I intended, but you guys are so good at so enjoyable to listen to.
Later, man.
All right, so Hard Nettin, last week's Illuminati is
Alumni.
DK Vine. Thank you. This is from the romance section. Last week I treated you guys to a summary of Crystal and Fox's on again, off again relationship.
What happened to the images?
This is on the current. I can try to reload it again.
who are the characters? This is the Donkey Kong.
It is
This
the
is
Donkey Kong universe.
Yeah, DK Vine.
Who loves who?
Okay.
is the entire thing.
I love all of them.
And somebody's,
No. I mean, like Fox and She Fox are in a
Crystal.
I think
Okay.
Fox
Crystal, sorry.
McCloud is in this universe, which I didn't
What's
know.
the? I actually don't know. What's the relationship between Donkey Kong and Diddy? Just friends?
Yeah, I think they're buddies.
They're just buds.
they're
Right?
just
That's not
Jungle
his
Buds.
son?
No.
No,
Oh boy.
because Donkey Kong Jr. is his
Oh,
son.
yeah, Conker is in this as well.
Oh wow,
Conker and
Conker's a
Barry.
bad boy.
So it's the Donkey Kong universe.
This is bad words.
It's the DKU as they call it, which as far as I can tell is just every Rare game combined. Apparently they're all in the same universe.
I think Sea of Thieves is in there somewhere too.
Yeah, they reference Sea of Thieves a little bit. So this was a type up of a bunch of the romances that occur in Donkey Kong universe.
Okay, cool.
It's awesome.
Of varying complication. Last time talked about Fox and Crystal. This time Conker and Barry. Here's a brief excerpt for you. Imagine for a moment that your significant other repeatedly blows you off. No, not like that, you filthy bastard. When it comes to dates for one reason or another. You still love them, but they just aren't satisfying in the ways that you'd like. Okay, now think that. You could just break up with them or discuss your problems, or you can take matters into your own hands and find that satisfaction in other ways. Barry is kidnapped by one of Don Weezo's men, so her initial confrontation with him is anything but consensual. However, as soon as she is busted out of her cage, where does she run off to? Not home or any place like that, she runs back to Don Weezo. This is a man who can treat her like a princess and give her everything she wants. She may or may not recognize Conker in his getup. If she does, then she's probably still angry with him and is unwilling to help him. If she doesn't, then it's a dumb blonde stereotype, which is arguably in character. Talking about their rocky relationship.
We're talking about Conker and Barry?
Yeah, there's a sequence in which Barry is liberated, but
Barry's Conker's female.
So, but go up to the top.
interest? Love interest?
Barry?
Is that supposed to be
Oh.
her on the left?
I guess so. That's Barry.
She's not blonde.
I don't know what to tell you. Maybe she was blonde in a different game.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, there
That looks
she
like
is.
a completely different character.
Yeah, she's blonde there.
That's a completely
Look at
different
the
character.
cleavage on that squirrel.
This is almost as confusing as the Taraka box art.
Is that
Like, who's
Oh,
that
yeah.
young man
Oh,
on the cover, and
is
why am I
maybe-
an old man in the
Is
game?
maybe no, that's Barry. I'm confused.
It's there's a lot
Just
going on.
read the blog, James.
Yeah.
I just probably have to vote on
Can
it.
I admit So do you guys here? I've never played a Conquer game in my life.
Yeah,
not the
I've
no
also
one has.
never played
Oh,
that.
okay.
Yeah, never.
I thought I missed something.
No,
No, you didn't miss nothing.
Okay.
And I don't even know because I never played one.
Gotcha. I've just seen clips and went, this doesn't look fun at all.
It's kind of not.
There's a character who just poo. Hey, how old are you, kids? How old are you? He's poo. Play us.
Put eyes on a poo.
It's like poor Microsoft. They bought Rare and they're like, all right, do your thing, and they went, no, and then fuck.
Yeah, I know.
And then they're like,
They make grabbed by the ghoulies.
but then they're like, hey, Insomniac, we got you for an exclusive. Like, what do you got? Sunset Overdrive. Awesome. That's gonna be great. Didn't sell well. Oh well. Well, we're gonna work on this Spider-Man game. $7 billion later.
Bitches.
You fucked us. You fucked us. You fucked us. And Rare's over there going like, the house is on fire. Like, damn, we made pirates.
Here's a boat. You can get treasure.
40 years old.
All right, and then it's going up against. This is a pretty meme channel, but it's a good one. So what I find fascinating about this music video is it shows the progression from like weird kid in junior high to a master of meme arts.
Okay.
So lately, for the past year or so, this creator has only been making frog-based "It's Wednesday, My Dude" meme videos.
Okay.
The thing that's amazing about this is he'll find remixes of that on SoundCloud and then make a video to match, all using this frog.
Oh.
So there's all sorts of.
Where'd the frog come from?
It's part of the meme, I guess.
It is part of the meme?
A little vacation frog meme there. Just floating in a
Getting
pool.
some views.
Yeah.
That watch time. That's where the money's at.
Yeah.
You can't run an
That's the
ad.
problem. YouTube's new algorithms do not celebrate and reward artists like this.
This is why there's no more animation.
Yeah.
You killed it.
Yeah, the After Effects on display is pretty impressive for
Yeah.
what amounts to a bunch of "It's Wednesday, My Dudes" remixes from SoundCloud.
Impressive.
Oh, is
This
it the
must be
frog?
someone who. This must be someone who does it professionally,
Maybe.
and they're just like, this is just a fun thing I do on the side.
That's 400,000 views. That's really good. I also
usually
like
just-
that. I like this mix.
That's a good one. All right. Let me see.
This is what most views
Most
want.
popular one. Yeah, let's
oh,
find the
geez.
most popular one. So
Wait, hold on real quick. Oh, wait. This one's good.
160 subscribers.
They just get more and more intense as it keeps going.
So the original meme is "It's Wednesday, my dude."
Yeah, it's that dude in the Spider-Man outfit. That's why I picked it.
I don't.
What?
I'm behind on my memes.
You never seen that one? That's classic.
I know that one. Yeah. I don't know the frog though.
Look at him go.
These are really good videos.
These are really, really well done animations.
This guy?
Let's ask. You're probably right, James. He probably works professionally somewhere else.
Yeah, this is someone who does it for hire or whatever, and they do this anyway because it's really easy to show. Like, I'm sure they've gotten jobs because they're like, I do this lighting effect, and it goes from this Wednesday, my dudes.
And in the case that guy is not hired,
Yeah.
we pay $20,000 a year.
Well, every 2 we pay bi-yearly.
I'm sorry, every 2
Yeah.
years we pay.
It works out to about $20,000 to $5,000.
Oh, I like
Chat
this.
boys.
I already like this already.
We have unlimited PTO then.
Here comes that bullshit. What up?
Too
Watch
busy
him
to
roll
use
it.
it.
Watch him go. Watch him roll it. Watch him go. Watch him roll it. Watch him go. Watch him roll it. Watch him go. He be rolling down the street.
I've
He
seen
be
that frog
rolling to
before.
the
Yeah,
beat.
that
He
boy.
be rolling
That boy.
down the
I
street.
know that.
He be
Okay.
rolling
I know
to the
that.
beat. Watch him roll. Shit, what up?
11 million views.
Yeah, sadly. He just hit it the right time, I guess.
Yeah, that's rough.
Wake Me Up's pretty
It's not
good.
an accident, guys.
Let's wake me up. Let's wake me up.
It's,
Is it
again,
Evan F? Please tell me it's Evan.
oh, of course it's Evan.
All right, I just want to make sure.
Classic memes.
Daredevil soundtrack.
They're all bites.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Catch her, Daredevil. She's
Oh, I
falling.
beat Kingpin. Kick him in the shit.
Ah, my legs.
He did whatever.
Before you go.
Wham. George Michael.
Damn.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't see the actual like lasers of light coming out of his
This is
eyes.
hellish.
That takes a lot of time.
It really does.
That's really good.
Some of these frog ones are. You haven't even seen the good ones. Oh yeah, this is the newest one. This is kind of the culmination of the entire frog universe. Hack everything.
Oh
for
wow,
one
yeah,
day.
he's writing code.
Oh wait, this isn't the one I was thinking of.
It's still pretty good though.
Oh wait, yeah. So this is part of a narrative. because after the world is hacked, there's another video that references all of these frog characters, including this frog family, the frog hacker.
Pretty fucking cool.
Well,
Look like a Mr. Robot promo or something.
He's starting to develop his own continuity, which is to me the turning point when something just goes from meme.
Oh, nice.
Wow, heads
Yeah.
will roll. That was going to be a good one.
That one is a good one.
Frogs
I'll
will
hear
roll.
it. That's
That was
pretty
a
recent.
100K video,
That was for
right?
him getting 100,000 subscribers. There it is. Yeah, we'll check this one out real quick because again, the animation is just too good.
Oh, he's really
Look at all these YouTube subscribers all flying into his channel.
That was really good. Stormtrooper.
Yeah, wow, yeah. Wow, and their bodies are made up of all the subscribers.
Yeah.
Dude, that's rad.
It must be like a particular program or something. Like,
It's a mosaic of all the. That's amazing.
Just need to put this as an overlay on top of all of our videos. He probably won't care, right? Right, Zemo? Just say nothing to give your consent, please.
It's not legally binding.
All right. Well, last one here. The one that's really combining it all. This is the Furious 6 of frog meme videos. He's analyzing the signal.
his eyes, his eyes go
vibrating. Is this John Smith's channel?
reflection.
It's so good. They're coming.
There's a fire. I want to see what the script looks like.
Script?
Exterior space.
Oh, future frog. He's coming. He's invading.
This plays before like this plays before a Dead Mouse show.
This is so ambitious.
I know.
Oh,
This is the sound the frogs making.
it's the remix of Spider-Man dude screaming. Oh yeah, there he was.
This does look like something John would make.
Yeah, it really does. Oh my gosh. Wait, so what happens?
Each one of these is made in a week, which is crazy.
What happens when the future frog meets normal frog? Is this,
This is 3D space.
He's dancing. There's Egyptian frog and then there's Russian frog. This is just like, these are clips from all the other It's Wednesday My Dude videos.
It said finale. This is from a week ago, right?
yeah, I think he's wrapping up his season.
Is this it? Is it over?
This might be the end of It's Wednesday My Dude arc. Oh, we'll just have to wait. We'll just have to wait and see.
Oh my gosh, cliffhanger.
Yeah, they went into a black hole. I need closure.
The synthwave It's Wednesday is pretty good. I said that would be the last one. I might have lied. Yeah, this one's pretty fucking rad.
All rad.
Well, all right. Yeah, we can vote over this one. DK Vine Romance: The Intricacies of Conquer and Berry versus the Screaming Frog flying through an 80s synthwave geoscape. Adam, who are you voting for?
Go for frog.
Yeah. Okay. Bruce, who you voting for?
Frog, I didn't want to vote for Frog because it's got so many views and it's already kind of mainstream, but it's so good.
Yeah.
Like, I can't not vote for this. It's so good.
Ooh.
I have to vote for it.
It's Stepno, my comrades. This must be the Russian frog. There's vodka squatting in an alleyway. Anyway, James, who are you voting for?
I really like the DK love stories.
It's great.
But it's tough that Lawrence read a passage from it and I was confused when it's supposed to answer questions.
Shit,
Right?
sorry.
Not raise more questions. And this is a tour de force.
Yeah, it really is.
And I have to give it to Zemo Nitrome or
So
whatever.
good. So good.
Yeah, this is truly. It is Wednesday.
Wasn't the bad guy in Civil War Zemo?
Baron Zemo.
Yeah.
Baron Zemo.
Oh.
Helmut.
Yeah.
He was on it early. God, I just want to watch all of these now. Every last one. I'll watch them. Oh, Tactical Wednesday? I need to know that. He's diving through a window with two guns.
Those are the guys from the finale.
Yeah. Like I said, it's a universe.
I'm just impressed that he has cutouts or whatever of the frog hands in every position he needs them.
I know.
And like the open mouth and everything.
It's like everything. He had one that was at pointing. He has holding a gun.
That was great.
All right, there we go. Let's see here. Simo said himself that after one video a week for a year, he was done. Okay, so we came in right at the end.
Came in right at the
Wow.
end.
Damn.
Wow.
Okay.
Nice job, Zemo.
Well, you have won the Hard Netting for your year of service of celebrating Wednesday. 52 Wednesdays, I assume. I got to go watch them all now. They're like 30 seconds apiece, so that's a good half hour of my life well spent. Thank you for spending an hour and a half of your life with us. Truth be told, I thought this one was going to wrap it pretty quick, but once Spider-Man starts spinning his web, you just get caught up in it. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next week. Do we have any
Pull
announcements?
up that video of
Nah.
Arizona Circles coming up soon.
Yeah. Yeah, we can tease that, right? Of course
sure.
we can.
We're taking a trip at the end of the month, but we'll tell you about that later.
I don't actually know.
You could show the trailer for Arizona Circle. Just pull up a video of Felicia's boobs getting bigger.
I was gonna say, I think it's only on rooster.com, but
Yeah.
it said show Arizona Circle trailer on YouTube.
You know how
Yep.
Black Cat gets her powers, Bruce?
Oh.
It's the same super serum that.
Breast implants.
Oh, she gets breast implants. It's the same
8
thing.
minutes.
It's the same
I don't
thing.
have time for this.
Was it same Steve Rogers steroids?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is the Arizona Circle trailer?
Yeah.
I
don't
mean,
even
we
know
want
what's
people to
going on.
watch, don't we?
Like, Steve, we developed a serum that make you super strong. Now bend over so I can put it in your ass. He was like, "Why do I have zits on my back?" I'm like, don't worry, you're super
Take that
strong
super
now.
serum.
Are they ever going to show her or?
Well, no, because
This
it's
is
like
probably her intro.
Whoa! I saw.
this
I saw
was
a little-
borderline pornography for children.
I saw a little butt crack there.
I mean, that's most of the characters.
Yeah, how does that Y butt crack thing work? Because that means that one cheek's kind of folding over on the other one, right? How does that work
He's a
out?
genius and stuff.
They reuse so much animation in the show to save money.
How dare you?
That's just cartoons, man.
No, why would someone have those tables up there?
Yeah.
They're like antiques.
So wait, was there like a transformation sequence where her
Yeah,
tits just exploded?
yeah. Sometimes she'll transform. Oh, go back a little bit. Because you can see that she's regular.
There is
Oh, she's just got her.
I have destroyed.
Because her hair changes color.
Oh yeah.
Because I think they didn't want to just draw her. Or so they were like, she transforms, whatever. But her boobs get noticeably bigger.
Well,
Shield agents on like hoverboards.
your
You don't have to draw the wheels.
DudeTube challenge for this week is to stare at Felicia Hardy's chest as she transforms into a
No,
bug.
it's
But
to
in a
watch
respectful way.
Watch Arizona Circle.
Oh.
That was the trailer.
You saw it here first, folks.
Thanks for watching, everybody. If you're watching live, stay tuned for the post show. Otherwise, we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey.
Probably never be GTA levels
Oh,
because they're still grounding it.
Yeah.
That's actually what I really
Oh,
liked
that you
about
don't
it.
get planes, potentially?
Maybe.
I mean, you don't get any of that stuff at the beginning of a GTA game either.
That's true.
I think it's kind of important to remember that.
Yeah.
It is interesting that you brought that up about how people talked so